Hello class! Today we've got an extra special lesson for you. We are looking at Transformers Prime, Robots in Disguise, Soundwave, who is a Decepticon. And look at that, includes Laserbeak. Sweet. There we've got a picture of Soundwave up top. You can see a little blip of his, I guess, sonar or something that represents his face. The silent one. Anyways, on the side here we've got another picture. We've got some stats. We're not really going to look at him because if you've watched the show, you know that Soundwave's stats should just be ass kicker badass. He did some very bad things to people, like curb stomp battles. Anyways, there we've got a picture of him on the back. And again, it includes Laserbeak, which is excellent. And we've got a little brief description, so I'm just going to grab this here. Soundwave intercepts electronic transmissions for his leader Megatron. Shazam! That's super. He also beats the crap out of people, and spies on people, and beats the crap out of people. At any rate, so we've got his robot mode here, and here we've got his, well, they're calling it recon drone mode, which I guess is, I don't know, sure, it's a plane, a spy plane of some kind. Then we got some of the other Transformers on the back, which we've seen on other packaging before. I think that's pretty good. Nothing on the other side. So, there we have Soundwave in his packaging. What we're going to do is we're going to open him up, see if we can get my camera to focus a little bit better, and we will have a better look at Soundwave. Back in a second. And here we've got Soundwave in his spy plane form, or reconnaissance plane form, or some kind of drone or something. I don't know. Anyways, here we can see his colors. It is kind of a light bluish here, and it's got some pink highlights on it. I'm not quite sure who decided light blue and pink was a good combination for a Decepticon warrior, but be that as it may, there it is. Shut up, kitty, no one cares. And we can see he's even got Laserbeak here attached up top. I can't remember if he usually does on the show or not, but he does right now, and that's all that matters. Now, the other thing I want to point out is we can see all the, robot kibble on the bottom, which is typical of Transformers, but if you see here, we've got his landing wheel, which we can fold down, or up, or down. There we go. And the one thing that I kind of wonder about that is that, yep, it's nice, and we can set it down, so we can sit there. There's no other wheels. I don't know too many planes that land with one wheel, besides the fact that he transforms into a robot, which we'll look at in a minute, and he wouldn't need it anyway. How many Transformers do you see actually come down for a landing and then transform? Not going to happen. Anyways, the jet looks pretty good as it is. My only kind of gripe about the plane, and you can even see it when we were looking back at the card that was the packaging, is that we can see a lot of the seams for where the pieces are put together. Oh, I hit something. Anyways, and we can see that a lot when we have the figure out, especially along the front here. It doesn't seem to sit together too well. As much as I try to reef the pieces together, they don't seem to sit together too well. They come apart pretty easily. But otherwise, it's not too bad. And again, let's face it, I don't care about vehicular modes too much. I just like the robot modes. So having said that, let's see if we can turn Soundwave here into a robot. So first we'll do is we'll get rid of Laserbeak. And we're going to pull apart the wings to start off with. Put them up there. And we're going to fold that one wheel in, and we're going to pull apart the front so we can get his legs. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold this like that. Now actually, something else I should point out while I'm doing this, the plastic, especially the front of the plane mode, these bits here, it seems like a very soft plastic. And there's a little piece of plastic there that we fold that one bit over to put it in place. And so the whole thing feels very soft, but maybe that's because there's a lot of kind of joints that need to click in place, and maybe that's why we do it. Fold that back, we can fold this down. We've got one leg. And then we can basically do the same thing with the other. Let's fold these in place. Whoops, fold that back, fold that down. Click that one there. Okay. So once again, there we go. We've got his legs and something that resembles a torso. We're going to reverse the arms over the shoulders. Fold these bits up. There we go. We can separate here. And then we can fold this part out to get his arms. There we go. can do the same thing with this arm. There we go. Whoops. Okay. And the last thing we need to do, the thruster at the back, we pull this back and woo, its head pops out. See that? Let's try that again. It's spring-loaded. Whoa! It's almost like it does it on its own. Okay. So we put that together. There we've got his cute little winged backpack. And there he is, Soundwave, in his robot form, looking all Soundwave-like. And then what we can do is we can take Laserbeak here. And what we can do is we can fold his wings up this way, or I guess back it would be. And then we can put Laserbeak onto his chest, like how he's held on in the television show. So there you go. There is Soundwave in his robot form. So the colors, you know, not too much changes. A little more black that we can see now. Kind of a gray on his knees, his feet, and again we still got some of the purple highlights. One thing about the particular Soundwave that I got, and I don't know if they're like that with all of them, but somebody managed to drop some yellow paint on his arm. So my Soundwave is slightly blemished, I guess. I don't know, or we'll pretend it's mech fluid. I don't know. Anyways, if I really cared, I'd try to maybe grab some alcohol and take it off, but I'm not gonna. Anyways, his detail is pretty nice. It looks pretty similar to how he is on the show. To be honest, when I first saw the character on the show, I thought, how the hell are they going to make a robot out of that, or a figure out of that? Because his arms really are these long blades on the show, just like they are here, and I really was wondering how they were going to pull that off, but now we can see how. We've got his girly little digits at the end. I don't know why so many of the Decepticons have girly digits, but there we can see them there. Little holes in them. We'll see what those are for in a second. And his face, if we can get a little bit close up there. Ooh, I'm looking through at you. Okay. You can see there's pretty much no expression on there. It's a blank slate, which is basically the way Soundwave is, except for when you've got the little sonar thing or sound waves being shown on it or whatever. Yeah, I know. That's pretty cool. I don't think it has the translucent back, so it's not going to light up if you have a light behind it, which is kind of too bad. But altogether, not. He looks pretty close to how he does in the show. The coloring is more or less what we'd expect. You can see his back there. Now, if we're going to do the articulation for this guy, we can move his head up and down a little bit, and we can rotate it more or less around, even though when he looks backwards, he's almost looking straight up. He's kind of got a hunching posture to him, like he's hunched forward a little bit all the time. Anyways, his shoulders are going to go all the way around. We've got an extra joint there, so we can move forward and back. If we really wanted to, we could separate it, part of his transformation, but we're not going to. We can turn one joint there, and this thing goes forward and back. So he actually has a fairly dynamic range of motion there for his arm. You could arguably bend here as part of his transformation, but I don't think you really would, just because I don't think it's really supposed to. It's just part of his forearm. Nothing else, and then his hand doesn't move. At the waist, we can rotate all the way around. His hips are more or less on ball joints, but because of this one piece we have back here, as part of his leg, we don't get a full range of motion. So he's not going to be that much of a dancer, but we can move it around a little bit. We can rotate at the upper thigh. Again, that one piece here does kind of get in the way of that a little bit. Whoops, that clicking sound probably was a bad thing. His knee bends. In fact, there's the knee plate here which moves, and then there's the knee here, but because, again, this extra bit here at the back, his knees don't bend that much or that well. No other movement, and then his foot goes forward and back, and I guess this little ankle bit goes forward and back as well. So in terms of articulation, he's not too bad. However, the legs, really, there's lots of kind of kibble on the backs of his legs that give him some problems when you're trying to pose this figure. Now, I guess the other main thing that we have to look at for him is his main accessory, and that is Laserbeak. So much like on the show, he can go Laserbeak, eject, he wouldn't say eject, and then Laserbeak flies off and goes pew 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 and shoots people and stuff. I think he's supposed to, I think that way's the front, going this way, because of the way the wings are. I think. Can't remember. But there we have him, and even here, the wings move a little bit. I mean, you're not going to get much in the way of posability with this kind of thing. But the one thing that is kind of neat is that you can have Laserbeak rest on Soundwave's hand, which is kind of cool. So he actually can just kind of sit there with Laserbeak in attack position or about to launch him or something crazy like that. So what do I think of this figure? You know what, he's not too bad. The plastic on a lot of them feels weak, especially the legs, the hands up here. It feels like a softer grade of plastic, which, good or bad, I don't know, because I think the transformation bits here might be a little bit more difficult if they're a harder grade of plastic. But they are kind of soft. He stands up all right, as we can see. He's got a decent amount of articulation, and he just looks pretty good. In fact, I'm impressed with this figure, just that I was really wondering how they were going to make a figure out of that character. So in that respect, I think they've done pretty well. If I were to grade this figure, I think Soundwave would get... He would get a B. He's pretty good. His articulation isn't the greatest, especially at the legs. And I just have a hard time with his colors. His colors, honestly, are a little bit meh. It's a muted, kind of light blue color with pink for some reason. I still don't know who decided that was a good thing. But I have to say one thing about this figure. For the robots in disguise and stuff, some of them come with extra bits and weapons, and I like the fact that Soundwave has no gimmick. He just has Laserbeak, which attaches to him, and that's it. There's no extra stupid weapons we've got to deal with, or kibble, or extra crap. It's just a pretty decent figure with a cool accessory. So I think that's going to be our lesson for Transformers Prime, Robots in Disguise, Soundwave. He was part of Wave 1, which I originally thought he was part of Wave 2, just to ramble a little bit, because I couldn't find him in stores anywhere. Seems like in a full case there's like 2 Soundwaves, 18 Bumblebees, and then one of, well no, there's lots of Cliff Jumpers too. And then a few Wheeljacks. But anyways, if you can still find him, he's probably worth picking up, especially if you want to build your Decepticon army. Because let's face it, there's not that many of them unless you want to get lots of Viacons. At any rate, I think that is our lesson on Soundwave. Thank you very much, and class is dismissed.